Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we visit Carolier Lanes in North Brunswick for the East Brunswick High School Boys and Girls Varsity Bowling Team Senior Night as we talk with the captains of each team. Then we head to Barnes & Noble at Brunswick Square Mall for a special poetry reading and book signing featuring a local poet. Al Nygren, the executive director and curator of the New Jersey Film Festival, stops by for the last of the Filmmaker interview series as he talks with the director of the documentary Peanut Gallery. All this, plus we have excerpts from the State of the Township address from the most recent Town Council meeting. And we have information on upcoming library events taking place in February. So stay with us. This Week in East Brunswick starts now.
I'm here at Carolier Lanes for our Bowling Boys and Girls Senior Night against Colonia. I'm here with Brandon Burdoff just to talk a little bit about the season. So, Brandon, how are things going so far?
We're doing really well. We have a really talented team this year, very senior heavy with me, Ryan Cumber, Stephen Evans, Sean Rosenthal, Kevin, and Brantley. Our current record is we're 13-1, and we're really pushing. Trying to win the GMC title and definitely win states.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great plan. Like you said, you're very senior heavy. So, right now I might be a little biased, but I see this team as being one of the top teams in the state. How do you pull it all together now at tournament time?
Definitely, it's all about teamwork. We don't have a lot of bowlers that average really high, so if we all really show our average, we can pull out some of the best scores any day. Like if we all shoot to our potential, we can shoot really big scores, and we're also extremely deep. Not just as seniors, we have a lot of underclassmen that are really stepping up to shoot.
Well, that's good to hear. Since you are senior heavy, the future looks bright for the bowlers as well. So, all right, Brandon. So, how's it feel being on the team for 4 years? It's your senior night. How does that make you feel?
I'm happy, but I'm a little upset. I love bowling, and bowling on this high school team has been such a great experience. Now that's coming to an end. I'm kind of upset, but over the years we've been so successful. We're getting better and better every year. I would love to finish out on top, and I think we are.
You've been a great leader, and I'm sure the underclassmen appreciate that. Thank you. I'm here at Carolier Lanes with Ashley Figueroa, one of the seniors on our senior night for bowling as they take on Colonia. Ashley, tell me a little bit about how it feels to be a senior on your senior night.
It feels amazing. It's my last season as a bowler on the team, and I've had an amazing past 3 years, and I couldn't thank my team enough for the love and support that I get from them.
That's great, and you're very senior heavy. I think you have 5 senior girls, so just mention those 5 senior girls.
We have Brianna, Michelle, Julia, and Kat.
That's good. It's an anchor of the team, and I'm sure they're great leaders, and they're going to be tough to lose. Coming into tournament time now, how do you see the team coming together and doing well in GMCs and states?
I personally see us as succeeding a lot because we've come together as a team amazing this year. We have amazing juniors and sophomores as well, and freshmen. I think we're going to do great. I feel like we're going to take it all.
I'm sure you're right, and continue to work hard, and good luck tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Michelle Leonard. I am an author, a poetess, and a teacher. We're at Barnes & Noble in East Brunswick. It's Educator Appreciation Week, so I reached out to them to see if they'd like to have me in to read my poetry, and they welcomed that, and here I am doing a poetry reading.
This week is our Educator Appreciation event, and Michelle and I put our brains together to figure out a really good way to get out in the community, and here she is. So Michelle, come take it away.
I was a little nervous before I started today. I've only done one of these before, and it was a very small group of friends and family, so I was a little nervous, but I think once I got into it, I just felt the words coming alive, and I could see everyone really taking it in, and I just really enjoyed the moment. This is called Love as I Have Loved You. Just because you love with all of your heart doesn't mean you will get it back. Just because you give all that you can doesn't mean you will be given thanks. Just because you help others whenever possible doesn't mean you will be helped when needed. Just because you bring love to others and joy doesn't mean it will be given in return. Just because sharing with others comes naturally doesn't mean things will be given on to you. But just because you don't always get back what you give doesn't mean you shouldn't continue to give. Someday you will be loved when you least expect it, perhaps least deserve it, and maybe need it the most. He said, "Love one another as I have loved you." Love is a never-ending journey and a two-way street. So when you are lost, let love light your path home. I've been writing as long as I can remember. I think I started my first journal when I was 8 years old. I kept a journal right through the end of high school, and then I started writing poetry and short stories in college. So it's always been my dream, and I feel like I'm living my dream, so it's just wonderful. So thank you. What I love about writing is that you are able to express yourself. You're able to share feelings with other people that they have too, and they can relate to that. So even though it's coming from you, people really identify with my poetry, and it's therapeutic for me, and it's heartwarming when other people also relate to it. Music is the sound of rivers flowing. It is the sound of thunder growing. The lovely piano's every sweet key, and the rhythmic food that fills me. Music is swimming in the ocean ever so deep. It is the lyrics upon which I drift and sleep. The soothing melodies that feed my dreams, and the notes that fit my every mood, it seems. Today I was reading out of my first poetry book, poems of love, life, friendship, and just because. And there's many poems in there that come from personal experience, but it's also poems that people can relate to. Accompanied with the poems are original photographs and original paintings that really complement the poetry. I have 2 poetry books, and I just recently released a novel. A storm blew in like an unwanted guest. The angry wind made its presence known. Trees shuddered in its wake, bowing to it. Some could not withstand the sheer force of it and gave up the fight. 1,000 tears came down from heaven as leaves were reluctantly plucked from the safety of the trees and forced to swirl among many perilous things. Ocean waves hurled themselves furiously at the unprotected shores, and the sky forgot there was a sun. Where is God on such a turbulent day? Is he a shrouded force, or is he in the hearts and souls of those who help us weather the storm? Put on your coat of armor, turn your face to the wind, and soar on the wings of angels. Do you have what it takes to survive the storm? I think today was a great success. I got a lot of really great feedback from all of my friends and family and other people who were here, and it just really was heartwarming to hear such great responses from everyone. If you're interested in reading more of my work, I have a website called thepoetessmichelle.com. I post my work on there. I also have a Poetess page on Facebook for all of our Facebook fans. I have a poetry group where other poets and artists can submit poetry and pictures to, called Words and Pics. That's also on Facebook. And my books are available on barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com, and also through my website. I am forever grateful for all of my friends who've inspired me, encouraged me, and pushed me to publish my writing, because it's not an easy thing to do. And I am forever grateful to the Lord above for giving me this gift.
Hello, Hal Nygren here, New Jersey Film Festival Executive Director and Curator, with the last of our Filmmaker interviews for the Spring 2016 New Jersey Film Festival, which will be taking place at Rutgers University between January 30th and March 4th on select Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. in our state-of-the-art facility, Voorhees Hall, room 105, on the College Avenue campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Today we have the charming director, Molly Gondor, of the film, the documentary film Peanut Gallery. And Peanut Gallery is a very, very interesting film, personal film, first-person film documentary about the loss of Molly's sister. And welcome, Molly.
Thank you.
Tell us how you came about making this film.
Well, this film started in my mid-20s. My sister died when I was 10 years old. And it wasn't until my mid-20s that I started to kind of feel disconnected from her and disconnected from my grief and my family, and feeling like I needed to face that somehow. And this film kind of came out of that.
I was just shocked by the amount of footage that you had as well. I mean, I guess your dad shot a lot of this stuff early on VHS, and I mean, that's a wealth of footage for you to use, and that also helped you retrace what was taking place when you were a kid. I mean, how much younger were you from your sister?
I was 4 years younger than my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was always looking up to her, and it wasn't until after I finished making the film that I realized that my father is a documentary filmmaker in his own way. You know, I realized probably where the urge came from.
I mean, it's an amazing sociological study of a family coming to terms with loss, but it's so much more than that, don't you think?
I think so. People really respond. When they see the film, they respond to all of the family aspects of it. I think there's so much about mother-daughter relationships that people relate to, and also father-daughter, and just and about sibling relationships that I think hasn't been explored that much on the screen, and it's kind of all the imperfect ways that we try to communicate with our families, and how awkward it can be, even though there's so much love. It's kind of finding the.
But it's so real. I mean, I think some of the interaction you have with your mom is obviously very strained, but the filming goes on. It's not turned off, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, was that still, your dad's in that scene? Who actually shoots that? Is that?
A lot. There was nobody else in the room, so a lot of times. So
you just kind of set it on auto, and that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, but how long did it take you to kind of put all this together?
A long, long time.
Yeah.
I couldn't even look at the footage for 2 years after I shot it. I mean, I continued shooting, but I wasn't looking at anything I was shooting. And then the editing process was about 2 years.
Yeah, you could tell.
Well.
And you need to kind of withdraw from the process to kind of see it with renewed vigor and new eyes, in a sense. Yeah. So. Congratulations, your film was also accepted to Slam Dance, which is an honor. And at the same time, you were involved in a previous film that's also gained some notoriety. You were the producer on Gasland, which is a very important environmental documentary that made the rounds a couple of years ago. How did you get involved in that film?
There's not too much of a story. It was just through a friend. The director, Josh Fox, was a friend of a friend, and he needed a producer, and I was looking to produce. So.
And so was that your entree into the film world? Had you made films before that?
I'd been working at PBS as an associate producer, and so I'd done some little things in college. And, you know, I knew that's what I wanted to do, but that was the first big project I worked on.
So Peanut Gallery is the name of your film, and I promised to ask you this. Why Peanut Gallery?
The title is a reference to kind of how I felt when I started making the film, which was that I felt kind of like an outside observer to my family and to my own life, in a sense, and also to my memories of my sister. And I didn't, so the filmmaking process for me was coming into the family and coming into those memories and kind of finding my role in my grief and in my life.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's an important film for people to see, because it is a window into everybody's lives, because we will all lose loved ones, and sometimes prematurely, and sometimes, you know, is always going to take place. You know, it's not something you can avoid. So I think you learn quite a bit about the ramifications of loss in your film. So I really, experienced a lot of what you probably experienced from a detached perspective when I watched your film, but at the same time, as a sociological study in its own right, you're able to remove yourself from the process as well? Or is that, I mean, you have to do that when you're putting it together, right?
Do you mean like while I was editing?
Yeah.
I think it was a process of kind of coming in and out. I mean, it's
gotta
always
be
been
weird
such
to
a
do that.
personal process,
Yeah.
so I'm never able to completely separate.
Right, because it
But-
is you and it's your life, and at the same time, the title evoking the fact that you're looking from outside is something that you definitely feel at the same time when you're watching the film. Well, we've run out of time, Molly, but thanks so much for joining us. And folks, you got to see this wonderful film on Sunday, February 21st. There is a short film prior to Molly's Peanut Gallery. It's called The Yellow Stars of Tolerance, which is a documentary by Kurt Fissel, also a Jersey native, that focuses on preserving the yellow stars that were used during the Nazi Holocaust. So I recommend both of these films. Sunday, February 21st, Voorhees 105 at 7 p.m. General admission is $12, $10 for students and seniors. And Molly's going to be there to do a Q&A, so please join us. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grief, they say, feels like fear. Or, more specifically, like suspense. Like waiting to feel attached to something again.
Tell me about Dad's grief.
Dad's grief is very buried under work.
At the Town Council meeting on January 25th, Business Administrator and Acting Mayor James White delivered the State of the Township address. You can view the full meeting as video on demand at www.ebtv.org.
And we are a township that over the past few months and over the next couple of months is going through a transition period, as we're aware. You recently had a new police chief take office, and we have transitioned there. We, in the past few months, had a new library director be appointed. So you have a transition there. And obviously, the mayor has resigned, and you are going through a transition there, and we are going to be choosing a new mayor soon. And all of you are aware that I have announced my intention to retire in a couple months. How does all of this transition take place? In East Brunswick, quite honestly, it takes place very easily because the system is in place. And that's the message I want to get out for the residents of this township. The bureaucracy is very often seen as a negative term, but it doesn't have to be. It is the method. It is all of the steps in place to provide just for these types of situations, for smooth transitions, so that the work goes on. The work that the residents of this great township expect to be done continues to go on. Let me just touch on a few of the things that the department heads have done, because the average resident doesn't know the depth and the breadth of a lot of the services that provide and the extent of the work that gets done. The IT department has been busy trying to upgrade things and catch up and get us into the next millennium. And some of the upgrades that they have done are going to help all of the departments be more efficient when they're out there doing inspections, when they're out there out on the street in the police department, public works department, when the planning and engineering department is doing their work. And it's going to help all of the departments. The police department, we all know they do a great job. They had 78,000 calls for service last year. You can kind of sit and do the math in your head out of 365 days, they're getting a lot of calls every day for service. That's 213 calls a day. That's a busy department. We average, and this is astounding to me, even knowing that Route 18 goes through our town, we just average 6 motor vehicle accidents a day. The building maintenance department, in case you don't realize the scope of what they do in building maintenance with 5 full-time employees, they're responsible for over 165,000 square feet of space in 16 different separate buildings here in the municipality. That's a lot of work to do, a lot of area to cover for those individuals. Vehicle maintenance. You know that we do not contract out. We do our vehicle maintenance ourselves. Vehicle maintenance, again, with a total of 6 employees. They take care of 232 vehicles and 65 pieces of heavy equipment. Again, if you look at an industry standard for how many pieces of equipment one person can be responsible for, that's amazing that they get the job done. The library had a circulation last year of 739,000. That's astounding. That's a huge number. It's, as far as I know, the busiest municipal library in the state of New Jersey, and it's constantly winning awards as one of the best libraries, if not the best library in the state of New Jersey. They had 383,000 visitors to the library. Again, do the numbers there. That's more than 1,000 per day, every day, day in and day out. The Parks and Recreation Department, you've all attended some of the special events that they do. I don't have to tell you the tireless efforts of the department head, Mike Reisner. They're in charge of 400 separate programs, 16 special events last year. Those programs affected 5,000 residents. They took advantage of those programs. And those special events, approximately 15,000 people attended those special events. I'm not even counting the Jax concert. The water park alone had 80,000 people attend during the past summer. We were blessed with a wonderfully hot and dry summer. It was a record year for Crystal Springs, particularly with the new splash park that this council approved. It turned out to be a great attraction. The assessor's office, we believe, turned a corner, ladies and gentlemen. We know what the economy was doing a few years ago. We know that our rates were going down as far as our total assessed value. We believe we've turned the corner because we now have an increase in our tax base this year for the first time in several years. So that is a good sign that at least in East Brunswick, the economy has turned around. The finance department, we have, as a municipality, a AA+ bond rating. That's a wonderful bond rating for a municipality. Our level of indebtedness, and you have a bond ordinance scheduled for your action tonight for our road program. You're allowed, in general terms, you're allowed to have total indebtedness equal to 3% of the total valuation of the township. We have approximately 0.5% indebtedness. We are far below what the conservative state of New Jersey would allow us to borrow. We live in a very safe town, but even the municipal court had 20,000 cases heard last year. That's a lot of cases. That's why they have to meet so often. Planning and Engineering Department, remember that includes the Division of Inspections. The two combined fielded 30,000 phone calls during the year. That's just constantly people calling up asking for information. 9,000 people came to the counter in the inspections department. 9,000 people coming for permits, building permits, zoning permits. Again, a staggering amount for the amount of staff we have. Division of Aging, approximately 2,000 medical transportations. Several years ago, the governing body started budgeting and subsidizing medical transportation for people here in the township who had no other means to get to doctor's appointments. 2,000 of them took advantage of that. We did approximately 1,400 home visits. We've really been expanding that to get to the most vulnerable part of the population here in East Brunswick. The water department, 2,875 markouts, and responded to 312 emergency calls. And you know this time of year, especially with the water main breaks, I have to give that crew a lot of credit. This group of employees is a good group of employees, ladies and gentlemen. They do the work day in and day out. They do it very well, and they do it almost automatically by now. And it's a credit to them, it's a credit to their department heads, and a credit to the governing body. So with that, those are my comments, and the state of the township is strong, and I would imagine for years to come it will continue to be such. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hosick, and I invite you to attend one of our upcoming February events at the East Brunswick Public Library. All are open to the public. On Sunday, February 7th at 2 p.m., the CACA Mid-Jersey Chinese School will celebrate the Chinese New Year with dancing, yo-yo performances, calligraphy, and more. On Tuesday, February 16th at 7 p.m., join attorney Kenneth Verkaman, who will discuss how new state laws will affect your wills, power of attorney, and other legal documents. On Wednesday, February 24th at 7 p.m., join us for discussion and dessert. We'll be watching the recorded keynote, Maker Movement Goes Global, by Dale Docherty, followed by a casual discussion. To learn about our other events, such as the popular film festival, trivia, and our cookbook challenge, visit ebpl.org/calendar or follow us on social media. We hope to see you in February.